Welcome to Contemporary Retirement. Contemporary Retirement is a public interest program focused on the retirement community. Every program has segments on legal, financial, and health issues affecting the retirement community. Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a major grant from the Family Heritage Trust Company.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored by Family Heritage Trust Company. The Family Heritage Trust Company is an independent bank chartered trust company established by local professionals to provide fiduciary services, including fee-based investment advice, trust services, retirement planning, and tax planning. The Family Heritage Trust Company is committed to client service in our communities. For more information, call the Family Heritage Trust Company at 301-631-5900.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a grant from R. Thomas Murphy & Associates, P.C. R. Thomas Murphy & Associates is one of Franklin County's leading law firms, emphasizing estate, trust, elder law, and medical assistance planning.
Welcome to the Is It Legal feature on Contemporary Retirement. Is It Legal focuses on the legal issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Tom Murphy from the R. Thomas Murphy Law Firm with offices Waynesboro, Chambersburg, and McConnellsburg. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Good morning, Mike.
Tom, we have, for the last several weeks, really focused on misinformation perpetuated by government agencies, discharge planners, nursing home types. We talked a little bit about last week, as a rule of thumb, a married couple can protect almost all of their assets. They need to contact high-quality elder law attorneys. We have never seen a government agency or a nursing home do an optimum case.
Oh, exactly, and that's what frustrates us and gets our dander up the most, I think, because people are telling them there's nothing they can do, and they're spending money, and they're jeopardizing the well-being of the healthy spouse. And in fact, if we can simply talk to them, we can begin the process to protect everything and keep that healthy spouse's lifestyle intact and protect their interests.
You know, I had a gentleman come up to me after one of my seminars and say, well, I heard in order for us to engage you, you have to give us a percentage of your assets or this or that. I said, what? No, we bill by the hour. You come talk to us for an hour, we'll tell you what it looks like, and then we'll make a decision whether or not it makes any sense to engage in that strategy.
Yeah, the important thing is to talk it through, because there isn't one single client. You know, it's a lot of different factors, a lot of different things, and for many people it's completely different than the next client who comes in the room.
And then we have the secondary issue. There's two sets of rules. So we talked last week about the fact that married couples can protect everything they have with proper planning in many instances. Single people, it's harder. The law is not designed to protect inheritances for children. And you have people single person going to a nursing home, and they say, it's all over now. You had to make transfers before you went in the nursing home. Yet, in fact, the vast majority of transfers we make for single people are after they go to the nursing home.
Exactly. If you've given away your money and you've impoverished yourself, number one, you're probably not going to get into a facility, let alone a quality facility. And secondly, odds are you're not going to end up in a nursing home, so you don't want to build your entire financial plan around that possibility.
Well, you know, I have people, I'm giving all my assets to my kids. Well, you know, as they get older, kid dies before them. Now it goes to their spouse. You know, now all of a sudden we have another issue. Divorce, we have children have their own catastrophic health issues, and now your money's at risk to pay their nursing home bill while you don't have money to take care of yourself.
Exactly.
So the reality is we don't make transfers as a rule until somebody's actually headed to a facility, single person, and the reality is there are lots of things you can do, and yet people are being told every day there's nothing to do but spend out.
Exactly, and it's false. I mean, the reality is the rules provide for all types of transfers and strategies to protect those assets, and once you're in, you're not going to be thrown out. So as long as you can keep that facility paid, then you're going to be fine.
So married couples, our target is to protect everything. Single people, as a rule of thumb is about 50% of the assets can be protected in a single person case after the person goes to the nursing home. And yet everybody says, well, no, you can't do anything afterwards. But the reality is, it's not illegal. It's just simply a matter that you have to plan for some periods of ineligibility for benefits.
Exactly, and so if you do your paperwork like the power of attorney and you know what your options are, you can pull the trigger at the optimum time and still protect a majority of your wealth.
And one of the great challenges here is there was a set of rules which ceased to exist in 2006 that amateurs could make transfers before the person went to the nursing home and the problem went away. Does that work today?
Absolutely not. And so things that used to fix themselves, gifts and transfers, now create little dark clouds that stay with families through all kinds of time periods.
And if you were to listen to that nursing home and allow them to make that transfer, and then you found out, do the Medicaid application, and then you found out that your ne'er-do-well brother hooked mom for $40,000 3 years ago, you have a heck of a problem which you could have managed had you talked to a qualified elder law attorney before you ran out of money, but now you're setting yourself up to make this much harder than it needed to be.
Exactly, and that's what you see a lot with the single people. There have been transfers, families gift money, and there's nothing wrong with
the car to my granddaughter doesn't count. Oh yes, it does count.
Exactly.
There's a ton of things that people don't realize are gifts.
And so in many cases what we're trying to do is fix those problems so you don't get penalized, don't get sued, and things will work out.
Tom, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on the program.
You're welcome.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Few things in life are as important as family. Leave your insurance worries to us, Wright Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
Every life that meets its end leaves a heart for love to mend. Sister, brother, family, friends are left to carry on. When the loss seems more than you can bear, it's nice to know that we'll be there at Double Safe Fiery Funeral Home. We care.
Call Ed Lowe to help put your mind at ease.
Welcome to special guest feature on Contemporary Retirement. This segment focuses on various issues which are of importance to the retirement community. With me today is Paul Sweeney, President of Quality First Insurance. Welcome to the show, Paul.
Good morning, Mike.
Paul, if there's probably been a topic that you and I over the last 12 years have been unable to effectively communicate on, no matter how many times we say it, we have not mastered to have people hear what we're saying. And that is, as we've entered the annual election period for the selection of a Part D plan, you must do it every year.
You have to pay attention. Yep. From October the 15th through December the 7th is your one opportunity to look at your current plan and make the changes for the upcoming year, which is 2018.
And what we can't get people to understand is this is the classic carnival shell game. The insurance companies change the premiums, the deductibles, the co-pays, and the formulary lists, and you have to pay attention.
Yeah, and most people look, unfortunately, at just what the deductible is or maybe what the premium is. You know, they see that the premium last year was $35 and this year it's $36, and they say, oh, it didn't change that much, so I'm not going to change anything with my plan. Big mistake.
Because the primary thing you have to look at, more important than anything else, is that formulary list. Make sure that the prescriptions you're taking are still on that formulary list.
Yeah, and the formulary is a list of medications that particular plan covers, and there's no requirement that your plan has to cover every single medication.
And they don't.
And they don't, exactly. And the formularies do change each and every year. Sometimes it may not change that much, it may not affect your medications, but if it does change and your medication is one of the medications that is no longer covered, and you go to get that prescription refilled after the first of the year, you're going to have a problem.
And the problem is that if you have a medication that's not covered by the formulary list, it doesn't count toward the deductibles or the donut hole or anything else.
Exactly. And unfortunately, many times, those types of medications that are discontinued on a formulary are the more expensive medications. So if you're taking a name brand medication that's no longer on that plan's formulary, and if it costs $300 a month, which is not an unusual cost for a name brand medication, you're going to be paying that full cost the entire year, and it's not going to count towards your deductible or the out-of-pocket maximum.
And you see sometimes the subtle part of the shell game. Perhaps a name brand is in a much higher tier, somebody's given a prescription for a generic, but the generic has something in it that they can't take it, and they need the name brand. They could have a disaster on their hands.
Exactly, because again, usually when a generic becomes available, the name brand medication may still be covered, but almost always it gets moved into a higher tier, or what's called a non-preferred name brand drug. So if you had a drug that wasn't available as a generic last year, you might have had a $25 copay. But if there's now a generic available, many times that $25 copay will jump to $50 or even higher as a copay.
And the generic may be zero, so it's really a heck of a difference. You know, we had a major company, one of the most popular plans in the state of Maryland, change their plans in the course of 1 year from going from covering 92 out of the top 100 most prescribed drugs to 52 out of the most prescribed, 52 out of 100, and people had disasters that did not pay attention.
Right, and you have to look. Unfortunately, most people see the premium and they're focused on that, and they say, "Well, it didn't change that much. I'm not going to really do anything because I don't want to disrupt or rock the boat." But it's important. It's very easy to make a change. It's not complicated.
It's not medically underwritten.
Exactly. So you're going to be able to change from one plan to another, but you have to do it between October 15th and December 7th.
And one of the other things that we hear is people say, well, I don't need it because I'm not taking any prescriptions. Well, a couple bad things happen. First of all, not all prescriptions are maintenance drugs.
Right, and you might get an antibiotic, you might be prescribed a medication after surgery that you have to take, or before surgery you have to take for a while. It's always a good idea to have prescription drug coverage. Before 2006, Medicare didn't have any kind of prescription drug plans available. This is a great benefit. Plans range in cost from $12 a month to $100 a month. So many times, if you're not taking a whole lot of medications, maybe the $12 a month plan is the plan for you.
Well, and the other issue here, of course, is that there's a penalty in the event that you fail to enroll.
If you don't enroll in a plan and you decide you want to do it later, let's say you were eligible 5 years ago, and you decide, well, now I'm taking some medications, I want to enroll in that plan, there's a 1% per month penalty. So if it was 5 years ago, you're talking about paying an extra 60%, and that's not a one-time penalty, that's each and every month.
And it's not 60% of the $12, that lowest cost plan.
Right.
It's 60% of the average cost of a plan.
And the average cost of a plan right now is about $35 to $40 a month.
I will say this, and I've said it over and over again, unless you're covered by an employer plan or a government benefits plan, I have yet to hear a justification for the failure to enroll in Part D that I think is valid.
And we see all the time people that didn't do it, regretting the fact that they didn't. So just pay attention. When you're signing up for Medicare, make sure you get a prescription drug plan.
Paul, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on the program.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Tranquility at Fredericktown Assisted Living and Memory Care provides a warm, home-like atmosphere that promotes daily life enrichment. At Tranquility, our medical director is a geriatric physician. Our professionals support and understand the various stages associated with Alzheimer's and dementia. We have on-site physical, occupational, and speech therapists, as well as around-the-clock licensed nurses. For more information, give Tranquility at Fredericktown a call today, because everyone deserves great care. Let us do the caregiving so you and your loved one can embrace life again.
All right, let's get this show on the road. Ma'am, give me a good push.
Hang on, just 1 minute.
Ma'am, I need you to push right now.
Honey, you really need to push.
It's time.
Just hold on a minute.
No, right now, one push, ma'am, one push.
Just one more bid on HurleyAuctions.com.
If you haven't visited HurleyAuctions.com, you don't know what you're missing. Whether you're buying or selling, antique cars, tractors, boats, or real estate, you can do it all at HurleyAuctions.com.
Get to know Dr. Carrie Hesley at Diagnostic Imaging Services.
What I find most rewarding is caring for women through our Women's Imaging Center. We have a caring staff that will ease patients through an ultrasound, bone densitometry, breast biopsy, or mammogram. Our health team is sensitive to emotions involved in women's imaging and understands that every woman is at risk for breast cancer. Providing the community with a center that is so dedicated to breast health and the imaging needs of women is something special.
DIS Women's Imaging Center, providing women with progressive care.
Welcome to Contemporary Health Scene. Contemporary Health Scene focuses on the health issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Gabrielle Henry, Executive Director, Greenfield Assisted Living in Hagerstown. Welcome to the show, Gabrielle.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Greenfield is a unique facility in this area in that it was built solely to address dementia.
Yes, we are divided into 3 different wings and different levels of dementia, and we house our residents according to whatever level and services that we may provide for them.
And one of my concerns is when I look at some of the other facilities of comparable size to your facility, typically attached to a standard assisted living facility, they have 50 patients, but all of them are housed together.
The issue with that is that there are different levels of dementia. Everyone who is diagnosed with dementia has different forms and kinds, whereas some are higher functioning, some are lower functioning. If you mix the two together, I mean, there's a lack of care that goes along with it. So we try to group the residents according to their level.
Well, and as I oftentimes say, in your high functioning unit, oftentimes early in the day when everybody's doing well, it's hard to tell the difference between the visitors and the patients.
Yes, it is.
But as that person tends to sundown or have some other issues as they get less responsive later in the day, I can't imagine that if I were in that situation, looking where they have everybody together, to see a very low functioning person, it would not take much cognitive awareness to say, I don't belong here.
Yes, you're correct.
So with your split of the units, then the high functioning people are functioning together.
Yes, they are. And then our lower functioning ones, the ones who may be sundowning, we have 2 program coordinators who are actively indulging them in activities throughout the evening, so that way they stay stimulated during the sundowning, so that way we can kind of remove them from the environment and make sure that they are taken care of.
And of course, from a management perspective, which obviously the patients need to be aware of and their families need to be aware of, when you're dealing with the high functioning, it's more about keeping them stimulated and engaged, whereas as you shift down that spectrum, then it becomes more about care.
Yes. Just because of the lower functioning residents, they do still get activities. It's just more of a one-on-one stimulus activities involving the senses, where the higher functioning ones, it's more of a group setting and activities that are happening.
And they also have the opportunity to engage with each other
as
a part of that process as well.
Oh yes, we do have where we get the entire community together to engage in a larger activity where it might be a music performance, a party. We had a luau party a couple weeks ago where everyone came out to enjoy that.
All right, I'm going to have Director Greg pull up some pictures here because one of the things that I like is this courtyard.
Yes, the residents love the courtyard. We actually have a walking club that goes out daily, usually after every meal, weather permitting, of course. And the courtyard is fenced in, so it is safe. The landscapers have been in over the summer, and they have really redone some great things to the courtyard.
Well, even more importantly, you can't see the fences.
No, exactly, because of all the landscaping and how we actually had a tomato plant and an herb garden located there over the summer.
And of course, I can see they can go get the mail too.
Oh yes, yep. And some residents do utilize that, so we do check it just to be sure that if they are sending a letter out, we check that.
And I know one of the attributes of your facility is to not let people stay in their rooms.
Yes, we like to get them involved as much as possible. Now I know that some people may have bad days, and we do respect those days. However, our staff are trained to provide that one-on-one care just for a couple minutes to make sure that that resident is comfortable, and then we engage them into a group activity.
And so then try to get them out into the common areas, enjoy meals together, and it'd be as family-like as it can be.
Yes, all dining experiences are done together. It's all one big group in the dining room because we do want to make it a social event.
All right, well, there's always this big concern that if you have mobility issues, you can't be in assisted living.
Yeah, that is always a concern, but we are able to house those residents. Up to 2 assist, we are able to house them. Just because they have a mobility concern, we do not turn down residents.
And of course, dementia used to be you couldn't go to a facility if you had dementia, you had to be in a nursing home.
Yes, exactly.
Which is certainly not true.
Which is certainly not true. None of our residents are, some of them are not nursing home material, where they just want to engage in activities and have that socialization and stimulation throughout their days. With dementia residents, routine is key.
And then, of course, there was this perception, and still exists out there, that if a person's incontinent, they can't be in assisted living.
Yes, and that is incorrect. We do have some residents who are incontinent, and we do, our staff are trained to perform the incontinence care while preserving their dignity.
So I encourage people, when I talk to people about your facility, just drop in.
Yes, just drop in. I am here throughout the week, even on some weekends. You can feel free to drop in or give us a call, and we can schedule a tour and move forward.
Well, Gabrielle, I want to thank you for taking time to appear on the program. One last word. Where are you and what's your phone number?
Thank you. We are located at 310 Cameo Drive, Hagerstown, Maryland, and the number is 301-766-9202.
Thank you.
Thank you.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
The Community Foundation has helped create signs of community strength for more than 30 years. Scholarships assist with post-secondary education, and grants support programs throughout Frederick County. Making a big impact. Because of generous donors like you. Add your sign of community strength by creating a fund that supports the causes you care about.
Albright, Crumbacher, Mal & Idtel are a full-service firm that provides elder care services including managing incoming bills, bill payment, depositing checks, balancing bank statements, and preparing, planning, and filing personal tax returns. Put your mind at ease and call us today.
Welcome to the Making Sense feature on Contemporary Retirement. Making Sense focuses on the financial issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Christian Wright, President of Wright Gardner Insurance. Welcome to the show, Christian.
Thank you, Michael.
You know, Christian, probably the single most misunderstood financial transaction that I deal with my clients every day is truly having absolutely no idea what their auto policy says or no idea what their homeowner's policy says.
And that's not surprising because we see that all the time. In fact, we get calls from people who say, you know, I haven't even looked at this. I don't know. I don't know if my agent who I have now even knows what I have. And that's something that really your viewers need to speak to their agents about to make sure that they understand what it is that they have covered, because they may find, as we've talked before, that they don't have coverage for things that they think they do.
Well, one of the things that we have with the common carriers, you know, they try to deliver insurance at the lowest possible cost, which also means they essentially have fixed contracts. In those contracts, you get what you get, and if you needed anything else other than that, it's basically not variable.
Exactly, exactly. More of the cookie cutter type of policy approach to things, and unfortunately that's very prevalent, and we see that. Some of the large companies do a great job of advertising that way. But again, as we've talked before, one size does not fit all.
All right, so as we look at this, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the issues here. Now, obviously, with the weather calamities this year, we saw a whole bunch of publicity that suggested that a whole bunch of people in Texas and Florida decided to forego flood insurance because they didn't see any reason for it.
Right, right. And that's probably, again, one of the most misunderstood coverages in our industry. Flood insurance is very relevant to everyone, to every viewer, even in this area, in our viewing area, particularly because flood insurance does not just cover the overflow of a body of water. So we could have situations very easily. We had one in Clear Spring a year or two ago. Anyway, with a tremendous inundation of rain, and that can create a flood type situation. And flood is always excluded from policies. So it's
that
one of
means
those.
My house sitting on top of a hill with an outside basement entrance. If I have an inundation of water that overwhelms that drain and goes into the basement, standard homeowner's policy doesn't cover it.
Does not cover it.
And that's a flood.
And that's a flood. And that's a flood. So that's, as I say, the most misunderstood coverage, because people think, well, I don't live near Potomac River. I don't live near the ocean. I don't need the coverage. Well, that's not true.
And of course, those people in Florida and Texas do live next to rivers and to oceans.
Exactly, and that's the thing, again, that I hope your viewers understand, is that if you live in a flood-prone area, you're going to pay more for flood insurance, right? But that doesn't mean if you live in a non-prone...
So my top of the hill property is going to be relatively inexpensive.
Very inexpensive, very inexpensive.
It's all rated.
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk about another issue that we have here, and we've had a great deal of discussion in the public recently, and a calamitous release of information by a credit rating agency.
Right, right, and that identity theft that we see, we're going to see more of that. I mean, it's just a matter of time. If you haven't had it happen to you,
So
it will
custom
happen.
carrier can provide coverage for that?
Well, that's just it. A lot of carriers now are starting to include that, but that's one of those special coverages that you should ask your agent about. Do I have the coverage? And if I don't, can I get it? If I do have it, how much coverage do I have? Because a lot of companies are starting to include that because they see the need for it. There's a demand. It's relatively inexpensive, And if your insurance company does not offer it, there are other products available to fill that gap. And you can buy what we call a one-off policy. Again, very inexpensive. But if your viewers don't have it, it's something they absolutely, tomorrow they need to call their agent and find out if they have it.
And one of the reasons you use a professional carrier is, in this region here where we have 4 states in very close proximity plus the district, we have people owning properties across state lines, and it's very difficult to get coordinated coverage through a standard agency.
Exactly, exactly. And that's, again, something we've talked about many times before, because some of these standard insurance companies, they have territorial limitations that they may put their agent under, or they may not be licensed to write in say, D.C., while they can write in Maryland, they can't write in D.C. Well, you need to make sure if you have that exposure that you have an insurance company that can write in all states.
So basically your carriers will allow you to issue policies across multi-state lines, provide your license there and their license there.
Right, right. And that's again, one of the great benefits of working with an independent agent like ourselves. We can cross those state borders and bring that value to the customer.
There's a perception that Wright Gardner, one of the oldest, biggest insurance agencies in our region, is not interested in talking to individuals.
No, that couldn't be further from the truth. I hope that all of your viewers call or come see us. We'd love to have them visit our office. We prefer to speak face to face. This idea of speaking on a computer and getting everything cookie cutter is just not the way that we do business. We're downtown Hagerstown, and hopefully people come
Plus
see us.
you'll go anywhere you have to go.
That's right.
Christian, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on the show.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you from Contemporary Retirement.
Remember a more carefree time? Leave your insurance worries to us, Wright Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
These days, it seems like everything's online, and filling out claim forms and receiving and paying bills online isn't always easiest. That's why we at Quality First Insurance encourage you to just give us a call. Let us help.
Hi there, I'm Paul Sweeney with Quality First Insurance, and it's still just this simple. Our offices are open every weekday where you'll be able to call and speak to real, live people.
No detail was missed. I'm so glad that I turned to Quality First Insurance.
I've recommended Quality First Insurance to my friends who've been just as satisfied.
If you're not happy with what you're paying for Medigap, or more importantly, not happy with your service, give us a try. We're locally owned, and we take the time to provide you with the best. We are Quality First Insurance, and our mission is to provide quality products to quality people. Pick up the phone and give us a call today at 800-745-1411.